Alright, what's up guys? So, Hot T has uploaded a video titled Is Wendy Williams Being Exploited? Documentary Summary. Yeah, I saw the first 2 episodes of it, and yeah, me personally, I think that there is somebody behind the scenes that's like, hey, if we do this documentary, it's gonna make us some money. So, that's how I personally view it. And, I mean, I don't know. It could be overall Wendy Williams wanting to do this documentary, but watching them first 2 episodes, I was like, I don't know, man. It's something where I don't know. If I'm in that state, I would like to think that somebody would be like, hey, I think it's best if we don't do this documentary. Like, I think it's best. So, yeah, it's somebody behind the scenes that's doing something shady. And that's why, like, when I watched the first 2 episodes, it kind of felt, I can't say, like, it was uncomfortable, but it was more so, like, this doesn't, it seems like it doesn't need to be made. Like, we can overall hear about Wendy Williams' condition or see, you know, how things is going, like, without all of that. And so, yeah, I just, me personally, yeah, I think somebody there like, hey, as long as I'm getting paid, green light this documentary. So, but no, let's go ahead and get to this video. First things first, let me make sure my audio is working, because my PC had crashed, and so I was like, I gotta check some things real quick. Hold on for a second. Okay, we good. We solid. Alright, let's go ahead and get into this video. Make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hot T for more videos like this. And with that being said,
hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are about to delve into the latest news on Wendy Williams. For those of you who may not know, Wendy Williams has been a prominent figure in daytime television for quite some time with her show, The Wendy Williams Show. But these past few years, Wendy has unfortunately been struggling with health issues, which led her to cancel her show. She has dealt with many things these past few years in her personal life, and now she's under a guardianship. There are talks of her potentially being exploited, not only by her guardian, but her family and her team, and basically everybody around her as well. This past weekend was the release of her 4-part documentary on Lifetime, so let's just get into everything. Just as a little backstory, Wendy has dealt with a number of ongoing health issues, including Graves' disease, lymphedema, and alcohol abuse. In January 2022, Wells Fargo, Wendy's bank, put a hold on her accounts and decided to have a New York Supreme Court hearing to figure out if she really needed somebody to look after her due to her ongoing health issues.
There was talk that Wells Fargo got involved in this because they thought either her son, Kevin Jr., or somebody was taking advantage of her financially.
Yeah.
Do you know that to be true?
So I personally have not seen family taking advantage of my aunt's money. I haven't.
Have you ever taken money from your mother's account?
Not without her consent.
The judge ultimately picked a guardian, who was Sabrina Morrissey, to temporarily manage her finances in March 2022, and that person got confirmed in May. Sabrina is an associate lawyer at Morrissey LLP and is responsible for the welfare of Wendy and also controls her assets. Her legal practice focuses on trusts and estates law, guardianships, and small corporation matters. There are several allegations made against Sabrina by Wendy and her family, which we'll get into later in this video. Wendy recently shared some significant news about her health, including a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and aphasia.
There's something wrong. Go on.
Did you see a neurologist to find out if I'm crazy?
Oh my God, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to sit down again. I have no idea.
it would be uncomfortable to be sitting there, you know, doing this documentary and this, like, and I know that this woman's not in a good state. Yeah, that's just something where I'm like, I don't know. You know, you guys sit down and think about it, like, and who knows, maybe it might even be Lifetime. Lifetime might be all like, oh yeah, we'll pay everybody to be involved, because I'm saying, like, I think when they did that biopic about Wendy Williams, they was like, they did good with it, and it was like a really watched biopic. So now they're all like, oh, let's do this documentary, pretty much like a follow-up of that biopic. I mean, well, it's like, obviously, you know, this being a documentary and it's actually showing Wendy Williams, but yeah, I just think that it's something where I'm like, fam, all the different things that you guys can talk on, and you want to talk on somebody that's clearly going through something, rather than being like, oh, let's, you know, record all the like bad parts. Like, that's something that I just don't get about these documentaries. It's like, why not help them? You know, it's like, I'd rather be known as that network where it's all like, oh, we got Wendy Williams back on her feet and we helped her out, rather than, oh, let's record her in the bed, and, you know, let's record her having an outburst on people. Let's record her drinking and all this other stuff, snapping on people. I'm like, yeah, it's stuff like that where I'm all like, that's why I'm like, when watching it, I'm like, this is kind of messed up, because I'm like, fam, you guys, you could literally make a show about anything. I mean, I'm saying, like, I grew up knowing of Lifetime. My mom was constantly watching Lifetime. It seemed like you guys was never failing to make a movie. And then, yeah, you guys do this stuff, and it's like, dang, bruh. It's like, I'm telling you, it just seems like that Hollywood industry, they'll get desperate for some stuff, man. Like, they seriously will. There's like, oh, we can make a documentary about somebody in the middle of a life crisis. Oh yeah, let's greenlight that. Let's do that.
This doesn't look like anything familiar.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
Her limo driver claims that sometimes Wendy Williams would try to make him take her to work, not realizing that her show was canceled like years ago. Sometimes she'll make her driver take her to a location, and once they leave the location, she'll make him take her back because she forgot that they ever went. Sometimes she forgets who her driver even is. So she is really bad off.
Aphasia is a nervous system syndrome that affects the ability to communicate, with patients often struggling to express thoughts and even losing their ability to speak or write. Frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, is an incurable brain disorder caused by damage to the left side of the brain that affects the language and communication abilities. Its symptoms, which get worse over time, often can be managed, but there is no treatment that can slow or prevent their progression.
Dang.
The rare disease tends to strike people at a younger age than other forms of dementia, with most diagnosed between the ages of 45 and 64 years old. Hollywood star Bruce Willis also suffers from aphasia
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
frontotemporal dementia.
That's crazy.
The conditions meant that he had to give up his acting career. In a press release, her team said, Wendy is able to still do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care that she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. She is appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way. In the midst of all this, and just 72 hours before coming out with Wendy's new diagnoses, Lifetime just came out with a documentary titled Where is Wendy Williams?, which was filmed between August 2022 and April 2023.
Nobody can do it like Wendy. No one. People love Wendy.
You are a star. She was in her living room every single day for 12 years.
Yep, I guess that'll do.
The day the documentary was announced, Wendy's temporary guardian Sabrina filed a lawsuit under seal against Lifetime in a New York State court. On Friday, a New York appellate judge ruled that Lifetime may go forward with releasing its documentary about Wendy despite the lawsuit. The order says that such a ruling would be an impermissible prior restraint on speech that violates the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Although Wendy herself is an executive producer on the documentary, it seems that her niece, Alex, is very much spearheading the whole documentary operation, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Boy, oh boy, that niece wants her face.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing where it's like, if a lawsuit is coming out of it, that's how you guys should know. It's one of those things where I'm like, if I have a network, a TV network that's on like the line of like Lifetimes, and they're like, oh, there's this actress or an actor or just somebody, there's somebody of fame that's going through some stuff, we think this would be a really good documentary to capture them going through that stuff. And I'm like, look, bruh, I guess because in that situation, if I still had like the content creating career behind me, I'm like, fam, I uploaded full-blown videos that got no views at times, alright, and was still happy at the fact that I uploaded that video. I did that. I'd rather come out with like 20-30 movies that makes the same amount of money as that documentary, and they don't even get as many views as that. Yeah, that documentary, it might be the best documentary that I come out with, but I'm like, it's not needed. It's not needed to put somebody's life on blast like that. I'm like, fam, this like I said, rather than having it where it's like, oh, let's capture all the bad moments, let's actually try to help them. Let's actually try to do something, you know, to get them to that state where it's like, okay, like, hey, because I'm saying, I would feel bad if I go through this whole documentary, I go and put it all together, you know, give it a title, all this other crap, just to have it where some even worse news of Wendy Williams comes out talking on this like dementia thing. And then, yeah, then it's like, well, then it just really seems messed up. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just kind of low. I'm like, there's different things you could do a documentary on Lifetime. Yeah, come on now.
Screens by any means necessary. I can tell you that right now.
Now, Wendy's family actually says that she's been diagnosed with alcohol-induced dementia. The Hollywood Reporter reported in part 4 of the documentary, Williams returns to Miami, Florida to visit with her family nearly a year after her last trip in the fall of 2021. When a producer asks Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr., why his mom came to stay with them during her previous visit, he reveals that doctors told him she was suffering from alcohol-induced dementia. From taking her appointments and things like that, I was able to really learn more about things going on with my mother internally, he says. They basically said that because she was drinking so much, it was starting to affect her headspace and her brain. In the first episode of the series, when asked about rumors that Wendy's still battling substance abuse issues, she tells producers, I love vodka, and the problem is with Wanda. She's my sister. I love Wanda, but she hates that I love alcohol. Her longtime friend, Regina Shell, claims that
Yeah,
Wendy...
I'm like, that's just something where I'm like, I couldn't see my parent in that state where it's all like, and then if that is the case, then I'm like, yeah, I'm breaking every alcohol bottle that I find, and I'm like, no, then that's something where I'm like, because I think it was the second episode, they was like, oh, she hides it around the house, and then they just pour it out. I'm like, no, I'm confronting them over that type of stuff. I'm like, I'm not trying to lose you because you're trying to have a good drink and things. No, drink water, drink a protein shake, drink something that's healthy for you, but don't be out here like messing up your life and then thinking like, oh yeah, that's okay. Like, obviously, yeah, there would be a little bit more talking and a little bit more helping and all that stuff, but yeah, it's just something where I'm like, no, I wouldn't want to see my parent in that state. So
Wendy's alcohol dependency peaked during the end of her marriage to her ex-husband Kevin Hunter, who fathered a child with another woman while he was still married to Wendy.
I remember them talking
Wendy
about that.
entered a treatment facility in 2019, but returned to New York for her show and lived in a sober home while filming. She entered a wellness center for 2 months during filming for the documentary, but wasn't sure why she was admitted. Watch this scene where she said that she was forced into going to the mental health facility against her will by her guardian.
You went to a wellness center in California, is that right? Mm-hmm. Tell me about that. What was that like?
A wellness center.
And why did you go to a wellness center?
I don't know. Will took me there.
Why do you think we took you there?
I don't know.
So you thought we just had nothing else for you to do?
Correct.
At some point, her niece said, when it comes to my aunt's dementia, there are things that didn't help her: divorce, the pandemic, and then losing my grandmother. There was a scene.
Yeah, I can, you know, that's the thing where it's like, I understand, like, the pandemic, I had to say, even it had put me, like, in a bad state, you know. And yeah, it was something where I just think that like breaks are needed. You know, it's all like it's just you need a break from life. Like, I found things to keep my mind occupied. I started exercising. Fam, I went crazy with exercising. I was outside jogging freaking 5 miles a day, buying a bunch of like workout equipment from either Amazon or Walmart. What are some other things I was doing? Got a little bit more involved with content creating. I think that's just something that people need to do. Is like, yes, definitely take a break. But yeah, in a situation with the pandemic, I felt like that the whole like sitting around waiting, you know, for the pandemic to like, oh, okay, like it got, because I was like, yeah, I was thinking I was gonna go back to my job in Seattle. I was thinking, okay, stuff is gonna go back to normal. Not even gonna trip about it. No, it didn't. And so that's when I was like, okay, after I take this like just, you know, mental break, I gotta go at it with content creating. I gotta exercise more. I gotta keep my mind busy. And yeah, I just think that in situations like that, well, you know, I think kind of like, yeah, now the pandemic is, you know, I wouldn't say it's all the way over, because I still hear people getting COVID and stuff, but yeah, I just think that, you know, it's like, if it's still like worries you, yeah, just you know, keep stuff like that. You just gotta keep your mind busy. It's like, obviously protect yourself, but you know, yeah, just do things to just, you know, keep your mind just being active and stuff. Your mind and just your, you know, your just physical like body and stuff, or it's just you just gotta keep busy, all right? But anyways,
documentary where Wendy claims that her guardian is stealing money from her and that she wants to sue.
Has stolen from my account. Right?
I don't know because I'm not involved in your finances, but if you have proof and evidence of that.
There's no money for me at Wells Fargo. None. Zero. Impossible.
Like your accounts at Zip, that's what you're being told?
Yep. And I will sue all the people involved.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
According to The Hollywood Reporter, concerns have been raised over the guardianship by Wendy's sister Wanda amid claims that her family are not allowed to visit the TV star.
I think that the guardianship system is broken. We are her family. And
I'm like, how you gonna tell me not to visit my family unless like they said themselves? I'm like, that's something where I'm like, I would definitely talk on the phone and be all like, so you say you didn't want to see me. I'm like, if that's what you're saying, then okay, I will respect your wishes. But if it's some third party, we ain't blood. Yeah, I'm like, fam, if I gotta freaking attach a zip line to one building to another, do what that kid did in the Goonies and slide across from a building to and bust through a window, yeah, bro, I'm like, you're not gonna stop me from seeing my family. I'm like, you in what army? I'm like, fam, it's one of those things where it's like, I will hit you with a cross move, like a straight up a good old fashioned basketball crossover, and I'm like, I'm seeing my family. That's something where I'm like, nah. If my family wants to see me and I want to see them, I'm not going to have some random person in the middle talking about, oh, you're not allowed to see your family right now. Why? I'm like, because they don't have their makeup on? I grew up with them. I wish somebody would try to tell me, like, if let's say if my sister, she was like some, like, famous person and things, me and her are on good terms, she wants to see me, I want to see her, and they talking about, oh, you can't see your sister right now. I'm like, okay, if you're worried, like, oh, I gotta see her when she's all, like, dressed up, I grew up with this woman. I know her, okay? I've had Christmases with this woman. No, you're not going to tell me. I'm like, I'll find a way. I will definitely find a way. Whether I got to sneak in through a back door, do some Tom Cruise stuff, or I got to get some, like, suction gloves and be climbing across buildings and things. Yeah, it's like, you ain't going to keep me from seeing my family.
I'm not capable of taking care of my sister. What would you do? What should I do?
It was also reported that Sabrina has stopped alimony payments to Wendy's ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, and their son, Kevin Hunter Jr., has been cut off and is struggling to keep up with his rent. However, a source told the outlet that Wendy's manager, Will Shelby, and publicist Sean Zanotti were still on the payroll. The response to this documentary has been all over the place. Some people
that could be the case where it's like, yeah, it's this guardian person, and then Will knows, and then he's all like, okay, well, as long as I'm still getting paid, I don't care what happens to the other money and stuff. And I just like, man, I couldn't accept money like that. I couldn't. I'm like, nah, I would have to struggle. I'm like, I don't care how. I'm like, I'll go be a manager for some other celebrity or something. But I'm like, that's something where I'm like, I couldn't take money from somebody and they're not in a good state. You know, like, yeah, that's not, to me, that's dirty money.
Claiming that nobody really has Wendy's best interest at heart, and the reality of the situation is just that her team and her family are fighting for the right to exploit Wendy themselves.
I mean, it really looks to me like both sides are exploiting her and taking advantage of her current situation, while accusing the other side of trying to exploit her and take advantage of her situation.
One user tweeted, "I could not watch this documentary. The whole thing felt gross and exploitative." Bruce Willis's family.
Oh yeah, that's facts.
In an article titled "Where is Wendy Williams? Docuseries is unsettling and exploitative," Variety states, "What's now clear is that Where's Wendy Williams is not a series about the next chapter of Williams' life, but instead an exploitative display of her cognitive decline and emotional well-being."
Yep.
From the moment Williams appears on screen in episode 1, I'm Not a Crier, it's clear that something is very wrong. Fans have seen Williams struggle publicly with her health beginning in October 2017 when she fainted on the set of the Wendy Williams show. As Where is Wendy Williams opens, a lingerie-clad Williams stumbles barefoot into her filming room. Though she initially talks about being thrilled to put her talk show behind her and embark on a new podcasting venture, she's barely able to answer the producer's repetitive questions. Instead, she's quickly reduced to tears regarding inquiries about her appearance, alcohol abuse, and financial woes. The interview ends with the former broadcaster weeping into the arms of her manager, Will Shelby. Much of the series continues this way, with people speaking for and at Williams. Figures like Shelby, DJ Booth, publicist Sean Zanotti, and friend Regina Shell appear intent on filling in the gaps what happened with Williams following the end of her talk show, which has already been hashed out in the press for several years. Most disturbing is that some of these figures are clearly just trying to be seen with Williams in paparazzi shots or on camera.
And people don't realize like how bad that is, because I'm like, you know, and that's just something where I don't really want to put it into existence, because you know, for any and everybody, I want the best for them. Yeah, I know I've heard some crazy things about Wendy Williams and what she has said to people, but at the same time, it's like to see somebody in that state, and I don't even like, you know, really like be paying attention to them like that. It's difficult, you know, it's difficult. And I'm like, I'm not no Wendy Williams fan and things. Like, I grew up knowing of her because my sister will watch her show, and I would hear some things of her from time to time. But other than that, yeah, I'm not no fan. But it's like, still though, it's just messed up to see somebody in that state. And I'm like, you know, again, just, you know, not really wanting to put this into existence. But let's say, like, if the worst of the worst happened to Wendy Williams, where she's no longer here with us, I feel like that they definitely would look at those pictures, unless they just some cold-hearted people and stuff, where it's like they look at those pictures and be like, oh well, I'm like, you know, on to the next person. I would, if that was me in that situation, I would look at those pictures and be so disgusted. I was like, that's something where I'm like, no, I wouldn't even be able to look at those pictures, because it's like, fam, I'm standing next to somebody, and it's like, then that's something where it's like, you have to realize that they're in a bad state. The way that she's carrying on, I'm like, okay, 10, 20, however long ago, okay, like when you very first met her, was she acting like that? No. So I'm like, obviously there's something going on, and I'm like, rather than being like, oh, let me, you know, make sure my makeup is good for this documentary shot and things, I'm like, how about help them? You know, there's something where I'm like, yeah, I couldn't be that person where I'm like, I got friends or family where if they going through some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I just sit there and be all like, oh yeah, let me go and make sure that my, like, you know, my makeup and everything is good, so I can, you know, exploit and make money and do all this. I'm like, man, it ain't even worth it. So yeah, it's something where I'm like, I just, you know, I wish people was just a little bit more just mentally in the right mind to just be around people that are going through some stuff, because they look at it as a way for them to make money. And it's like, you know, good people, it's like they're going to look at it as like, okay, I can help this person, you know, even if I can't really help them, I can still make an attempt to help them. And I'd rather, you know, go out knowing that I made an attempt trying to help that person, rather than, oh, well, I got me a few dollars, you know, standing next to them. Like, man, it's people like that where I'm all like, hey, look, you find yourself in an even more struggling situation after all this stuff is done and over with. You brought that on yourself, so.
Also critical to address how Williams is physically depicted in the docuseries. During her 14-season run on the Wendy Williams show, the interviewer was known for her perfectly curled wigs, an array of brightly colored dresses, hoop earrings, and bedazzled sneakers. Those scenes of Williams without her wig and signature makeup might appear to give audiences a raw and unfiltered portrait of the commentator. Now that her diagnosis has been made public, one can't help but wonder whether she truly wants these aspects of her private life on display. At the beginning of episode 3, I Love Being Famous, Williams' niece Alex Finney visits her from Florida. The news anchor is immediately disturbed by the state of her aunt's appearance, apartment, and the random people who have anchored themselves around her, so much so that it moves her to tears. It's also alarming that when Williams is given the mic, she is often seen thrusting out her middle finger or belittling those around her.
Oh, yeah.
In response to a moment in the documentary where Wendy takes her wig off, one user tweeted, "This is a moment I never in my life thought I would see. This broke me. She really isn't well, y'all, and she really is being taken advantage of."
That's facts. Dang.
So beautiful. Variety reported, while Williams' cognitive deterioration is pronounced here, what's most devastating about Weir's Wendy Williams is the apparent loneliness that she feels. A forceful separation from her family, who seems shocked by her mental state.
Yeah, I couldn't see my family in that state. I'm all like, if there's ever a time, because I'm like, fam, I'm always thinking that where at some point in time, when like content creating and all that stuff, when it really starts going well. Like, I already know I'm getting a fat house, and I'm telling like each of my family members, the ones that I'm like talking to on a regular basis, like immediate family, cousins, uncles, aunts, whoever, I'm like, y'all want to show up my house, you know, just let me know. I'll, you know, get the house all situated and things, because I don't, you know, I'm like, it might be a time where I, you know, yeah, I had kids of my own, but I'm like, hey, just let me know. Doors always open. Want to play video games? Want to watch a movie? Want to watch a TV show? Want to record a video? I really don't care what the situation is. Come over to my house. Doors always open. Or even if you want me to go over there, hey, just let me know when, and I'm there. But yeah, it's just something where I'm like, I couldn't be like, if I'm Wendy Williams' son or cousin, whoever, brother, whoever, I'm like, I couldn't have it where I'm not visiting her on a regular basis, but I made sure of it at 8 o'clock tonight. Oh, I tuned in for a new episode for Where is Wendy Williams? I'm like, nah, bruh, that's some messed up stuff. You won't visit her, but you'll watch a TV show just to, yeah, that's just crazy. But anyways,
a lack of funds and a platform appear to have only exacerbated her issues. Moreover, Williams' appointed guardian's absence and apparent lack of care are extremely distressing and should be investigated further. At the close of the two-night event, one thing has never been more certain. The cameras should have stopped rolling in Williams' life the moment she left her show set for the last time. One user tweeted, "Wendy Williams is being exploited by her family, and her fans are so toxic they can't wait to see the woman they claim to love at her worst possible state." Wendy's family went on a media tour to promote this tragic Lifetime docuseries.
Wow.
But they didn't have that same energy to get court-ordered guardianship to protect Wendy. The family admits to Wendy's cognitive impairment and substance abuse, yet they're stating that she's cognizant enough to make decisions about this Lifetime docuseries while being under a court-order conservatorship. This is what Wendy's niece had to say in an interview with ABC News in response to people saying that this documentary is exploitative.
With my aunt, some of the issues that are being presented in this documentary have been there before, but it just really sped up over the last 2 years or so and just mushroomed into something that felt uncontrollable. She definitely cognitively has some things that are off.
Some people are gonna...
Yeah, but it's like, okay, then that's when you help them. I'm like, let's not, like, contact Lifetime about, like, hey, like, do you guys got some available cameras? All right, cool. Meet us at Wendy Williams' apartment so we could do this documentary and stuff. Help them. Like, that's something where it's like, you guys sit down and think about it. Like, some of our earliest memories as a kid, when, let's say, okay, you're at a park with your parents, family, whoever, right? You're at a park with your family, and you trip and fall, all right? You cut your elbow up, you know, and it's like you sitting there crying and all that stuff. Would you want your parent to, like, you know, comfort you, hug you, get a Band-Aid, you know, yeah, wash your, like, scratch cut off and things, and, you know, show love, show some support? Or would you want them to take their phone out and record you as you're laid out on the ground crying? Because you're going to think of that type of stuff, and you're going to be like, dang, that's kind of messed up. That's, wow, that was my childhood. That was, wow, okay. So, yeah, that's just something where it's like, you got to sit down and think about those things. And I feel like that a lot of times people, they just be thinking in the moment, but they're not thinking of the future of how this is going to look. Because I guarantee and I promise you, like I said, worst comes to worst, something happens to Wendy Williams, all of this stuff is going to start coming to the light. It might not be as popular now, but yeah, I feel like at some point in time, people are going to start talking on this. People are going to be like, hey, you know, it's like what you guys did to Wendy Williams, that's not cool, bruh. They're going to try to, and that's the messed up thing about it. It's like, that's going to be your whole life. You being in Wendy Williams' shadow and then having to explain yourself every single time where it's like some, here it is. It's like, she could like get hired on for a job at like CNN or something because they say she's a news anchor, right? So let's say she ends up being hired in for CNN where she's like traveling across the world interviewing a bunch of random people. That's gonna be the one. It's like everybody gonna be like, oh, great interview, oh, that was amazing, that was this, that was that. Then there's gonna be that one comment where it's like, still can't forgive you for what you did to Wendy Williams, you know. And that's gonna be the same with all her family and whatever job professions that they have. It's like they could go on to be actors, musicians, freaking content creators, whoever. It's like there's somebody. They could be a somebody, but there's gonna be that one person. They're gonna have a group of people supporting them. There's gonna be that one person where they always gonna bring up Wendy Williams, and that's gonna be the rest of their life. So it's like, fam, I feel like in this point in time, you have the opportunity to do something good. Okay, like my thing is this. I'd rather have it where it's like, again, if I'm related to Wendy Williams, I'd rather have it where I take every chance and opportunity to help this woman out, and if it wasn't enough, at least I can say that I did something. At least I can, leave this world and be like, well, I tried, like that's one thing I can't say about it. It's like, if I didn't try hard enough, then I'm like, that's something that I gotta live with, but at least I can say that I tried. At least I can say that I did something. So anyways,
this is exploitation. She's being exploited. How could they do this?
Right.
What do you say to that?
And I understand that some people look at it and think that. My aunt is the executive producer of this documentary. And when I finally
but it's like anybody could get slapped on a executive producer title and things. I don't even, because I really don't know about, executive producers and, just them different roles in, documentaries and movies and stuff. But I assume that it's, a producer is just, you're helping this documentary come together. So it's like, okay, well, obviously it's about her. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, of course, she's going to be have some sort of role or something in this documentary and things. So, and then she's probably, and I guess maybe if she is the executive producer, maybe it might be something along the lines she's just overall saying okay, I want this scene in there. I want that scene in there. I want stuff to be done here. I want stuff to be, so I assume it might be something like that. But if not, then it's yeah, of course, you oh yeah, let's just say it's oh yeah, we're gonna make you the executive producer and things so you can get paid a little bit more. But it's yeah, fam, it's something where it's still though, she's still being taken advantage of. It's she could be the writer, director, key grip, camera person, whoever, and it's fam, she's still being taken advantage of. So anyways,
and I said to her, why do you want to do this? She said, now is the perfect time because I want to take ownership of my story.
But does she have the capacity to take ownership of her story? Does she really know what she's doing?
I think that it comes in waves. And even in the conversations that I would have with her, right? That conversation was crystal clear.
It's just odd because there are two conflicting narratives going on. Either Wendy is unable to fend for herself and is cognitively declining and all that, or she's the executive producer of the show and was able to give full consent to its release.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Because it looks to me like everyone involved, including the family, maybe even specifically mostly the family, it looks like y'all are taking advantage of her situation.
And then there is this interesting take, which I'll just leave for you guys. This user tweeted, I don't wish Wendy Williams' situation on anyone, but she is a horrible actress and her docuseries was a total waste of my time. Wendy was an addict well before she met Kevin, her ex-husband. So let's not pretend as if he is the cause of her health issues. She shouldn't have released.
Yeah, but it's they did say it was okay, it was his situation, all right, and then the pandemic, and then it's yeah, also with the alcohol and stuff, it's yeah, she got a lot more on her plate. Again, I'm not no fan, and matter of fact, I was yeah, there was a time, I remember Wendy Williams, it was a situation, this happened all the way back in the 90s. And I just remember just watching videos one day of Tupac, the artist, for those that don't know. But anyways, I don't know, because there might be some people I don't know who Tupac is. Trust me, I have heard that before, and it's something that tripped me out, because I'm how do you... Okay, anyways, but regardless, but no, it was all the way back in the 90s, and it was right after Tupac had got out of prison. And Wendy Williams was, I guess, starting up this rumor saying that Tupac was assaulted in a particular way in prison. And yeah, I was I heard that, and I'm how does she know of that information? I'm if that's a lie, then I'm and yeah, even Tupac himself said that was just a flat out lie, that didn't happen and stuff. And I was that's something where it's from that to where I think she had made comments about Beyonce, to where I think she made comments about Whitney Houston. That's something that I always have known about Wendy Williams, is that she's always that person making comments about somebody that's just downright wrong. The thing is this though, never was a fan, couldn't say I was a supporter, didn't even bother to, like, if she is heavily on social media, didn't even care for following her. I'm not going to call myself a hater, but I'm not going to call myself a fan either. She's just one of those people where I'm all like, hey, she's in her world, I'm going to be focused on mine, alright? But if me coming out and saying that I think everything that's happening to Wendy Williams right now is messed up, yeah, that's usually in situations like that, I feel like a person gotta be right. If it takes somebody that's not even a fan of Wendy Williams, okay? Like, I wouldn't say that I'm a hater, but I'm not gonna call myself a fan either. I'm saying that something's shady going on. Fam, something shady is going on, alright? So, yeah, but it's just something where I'm like, I think that she could have gotten better help, you know? It's like, my thing is this, I'd rather still be in that same mindset where it's like, I don't care what Wendy Williams say or do, than to see her in a situation like this, you know? I would have rather seen her how she was on her talk show and all that stuff, than to see her now. I'm like, yeah, and I know people would say, like, it's karma making its way around, and I'm like, yeah, that very well could be the case, but I'm like, still, though, I just feel that there's a part of a person's brain where you have to feel bad for a person. So, but anyways.
Time docuseries, because it appears that she's just trying to get out of paying her ex-husband Kevin Hunter his money. There is no prenup. Wendy, quote, allegedly was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia last year, but she has the cognitive abilities to be the executive producer of her own Lifetime docuseries from 2 years ago this year. Yeah, sure. Wendy's situation is a cautionary tale of an educated professional woman who married an uneducated street hustler and got played. We have all played the part of a fool at one time or another, but Wendy's low self-esteem is the cause of her marrying a street dude who didn't have a pot to piss in without financially protecting herself. Wendy married Kevin with no prenup. She was foolish enough to make him her manager and even made him the co-executive producer of her highly successful television show. Yes, her hard work, determination, and vision.
Dang, I'm like, she
said
a
placed
lot.
In the hands of a street dude who didn't have a pot to piss in. What? Why does she keep repeating this? And she didn't have a problem with his mistress of 15 years until the mistress gave birth to his daughter. So no need to start fronting now. I have said it before and I will say it again. You date and marry at your level of self-esteem. Wendy needs to cut her losses and pay Kevin his money, because the truth really is she actually played herself. Now, this take is saying that all of these health issues are blown out of proportion. Wendy is actually not on a cognitive decline, and this is all a ploy for Wendy to get out of paying her ex-husband alimony, which, you know, it's interesting. It's out there, but it's interesting. But in regards to her having known that she had a mistress for 15 years, I actually found this clip of Wendy stating that it's one thing for your husband to cheat on you, but then it's another thing for him to go out and have a whole ass baby. So maybe that's evidence towards her having known that he was cheating, but I don't know.
In April, you filed for divorce from your husband.
Correct.
Kevin, after nearly 22 years of marriage.
Correct.
And
25 years being together.
Being together.
Correct.
And because of his infidelity.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know, infidelity is one thing. A full baby is a whole other topic. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you said in the New York Times Magazine, I'm a very forgiving person, but there's one thing I could never be a part of, and that one thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
The baby did it.
A baby.
Let me know what you think.
That's just crazy to see her, like, back then, and then you just, like, then seeing her in the state that she was in that documentary. I'm like, fam, that's something where I'm like, if I see my parent in that state, it's gonna probably bring me to tears. You guys probably wouldn't see me for a while when it comes to content creating. I'm like, that's something where it's just, yeah, seeing your parent in a bad state, it's something where it's like and I guess, like, I don't know. I guess, you know, just talking on me, it's like, because you know, that's something where it's like, I see, like posts about it on social media where it's like, when you see your parent get older, and that's something that, like, I've experienced, where it's like, when I see my parents get older, and it's something where it's just, dang, you know, like, it seemed like it wasn't too long ago where, you know, them, like, my parents, they was, like, in their 30s and stuff, like, just, they were chilling and stuff, and they were, everything was cool, like, they had all this energy, we playing around, doing all, then it's like, you see them now, and then it's like, and I'm not trying to, like, make, like, a comment, but it's just like, you know, you just see where your parents get older, and it's just, and it trips me out at times, because I'm like, dang, you know, like, I'm the same age as my, like, parents when they were, you know, had me and my sister, and it's like, that, it's just some wild stuff, man. And it's like, it's crazy, and then it's just, you know, as the years go on, then it's like, dang, wow, it's just, it's something where I'm like, yeah, bro, it's a sight to see, but I'm like, to see, if I were to see my parents in the state that Wendy Williams is in right now, yeah, that's something where I'm like, no. I'm like, I make sure of it, that I'm like, I gotta do something to help, whether it's me just simply being there, or me going out and about trying to find them some, like, help that can get them through life and stuff. So, but anyways,
comments down below. This is crazy. It's very unfortunate. It's honestly, like, I felt like crap making this video, but I would love to know what your thoughts are on all of this. Please make sure to subscribe for more videos. We are back posting on a continuous basis, so hit that subscribe button and push that notification bell. And for now, here's my bleach.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on.
dang. Yeah, it's like, it's crazy to just see, like, all the stuff that she's going through. And it's like, you seen her at, like, a state where she was just, she was on top of the world when it came to her TV show. Because I was like, I remember hearing about her when I was a kid. And so my sister had started watching her show, and that's how I had very first heard about Wendy Williams. And so, yeah, I think like, me and my sister, we just sitting down watching TV or whatever, and she's flipping through the channels, seeing she was on, sit down, I'd just be watching it, had no idea, because I'm a kid, I had no idea what she was talking about, who she was talking about. I'm like, huh. Like, it's kind of like in Good Burger, where it's like, I know some of these words. Like, I didn't know Wendy Williams. Then as I got older, then, you know, I you know, started becoming a little bit more educated with who she was. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what kind of person she is. Right? I know I'm not going to be sitting around watching her show and stuff. Then see her now, then it's like, yeah, bruh, it's kind of messed up seeing her now. And that's why, like, with this documentary, and because it was my mom, she wanted to just see it and stuff because she knows of Wendy Williams too. And so, yeah, it was just something where I was like, I didn't particularly care. It wasn't like I had brought it up to, like, oh yeah, let's watch this Wendy Williams documentary. I could have went my whole life without watching that documentary, and I wouldn't have lost no sleep over it. So, yeah, it's something where I'm like, I think that, yeah, whoever it is behind the scenes, push them aside, have it where it's like her family that is willing to take care of her, have it where they're in the picture. And it's like, it shouldn't be about the money, it shouldn't be about the fame, none of that, okay? It's like, because people be thinking like, oh, money and fame, it's all good and stuff, but I'm like, yeah, it might be good for that initial moment, but at some point in time, you're gonna lose it. So it's like, it's if you're thinking along the lines like where it's just that's all that you're thinking about, you're not thinking of like long terms, you're not thinking of the future, that's how you lose that type of stuff. So I'm not saying it's like, oh, be involved with Wendy Williams and be thinking of the long term to continue making money off of her. No, take care of her. And it's like, at some point in time, I feel like that good karma will make its way around you, and it's like, you don't even have to worry about that Wendy Williams' money. You'll get a much more better, like, you know, payment and things, whether it's like, you know, it's just whatever the situation is. But I'm like, yeah, people, it's like, you gotta just be thinking along the lines like where it's just, you gotta help. And it's like, rather than just being like, oh, let me just, you know, be involved just so it can benefit myself. Yeah, and I'm like, and it'll be them same people where it's like, you find yourself in a struggling situation years, 10, 15 years from now, I'm like, hey, this video was more so a warning. So, but anyways, yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Hot Tea for more videos like this. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.